Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Simeon Morrow Public Speaking and Presentations, Vienna Live with Simeon Morrow, and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please turn off your camera and microphone and/or go to the LinkedIn live video feed, the link to which I'll now place in the chat room. For a better experience, please turn off your microphone and set your video to gallery view. This show thrives on participant contributions, and all participants are encouraged to actively participate in this webinar by asking questions and making comments. To do so, please either write in the chat room, raise your hand, or turn on your microphone, say hi, and I will be delighted to include your perspective in the conversation. Tonight, our featured guests are Arno Kronvall, a multimedia journalist and host of the Savonlinna Opera Festival's opening of the Opera Day interview concert series, now in its 20th season. Kaisa Makkonen, a soprano, Jorma Silvasti, a tenor and former artistic director of the Savonlinna Opera Festival, and Chieko Okabe, a soprano and teacher at the Savonlinna Senior Secondary School of Arts and Music. We are also pleased to be joined by Dr. Lino Rivera, Professor of Music at St. Mary's College of California, and Professor Niels Moos, Director of the Opera Master Program at the Music and Arts University of the City of Vienna. Arno, welcome.
Thank you very much indeed, and good evening to everybody, and greetings from hot Helsinki.
Arno, so tell us a little bit about yourself, please. And as you said, you're in Helsinki. Tell us how you made that trip. How did you get 300 kilometers northeast to Savonlinna?
That's not very difficult. We have good ways here, so I took car, and it was 4.5 hours with one stop for coffee.
And a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm a television producer and director, and also make radio programs and host events. And I've been working for Savonlinna since 1970s, making programs from the festival, not directing operas, but from 1989 I made my first opera, that was Flying Dutchman, and I think that the former artistic director Jorma Silvasti was very much involved in that opera as well.
So, and Arno, so I mean, I'm impressed already that you can drive 4.5 hours and just have one coffee break. That's impressive. But I want to show now the listeners, the participants, what a little bit of this work that you've been doing there at the Savonlinna Opera Festival today. Let's take a look at that.
Nyt sitten oikeastaan otettaisiko Kaisa, sinun ensimmäinen laulu, Kaisa Makkonen. Tervetuloa. Monet meistä muistavat Kaisan historian, tietävät, että hän on käynyt elämän kovaa koulua ja kuitenkin hän on luovasti, hienosti ollut mukana. Kuitenkin hän on hienolla tavalla ollut mukana taiteessa ja ei ole lannistunut niistä vastoinkäymisistä, joita hänelle terveyden kohdalla sattui. Kaisa, upeaa, että olet täällä, ja mitäs laulat tästä aluksi?
Yrtit tummat manentoja ja onervaa teksti.
Kiitos. Kaisa ja Jukka, olkaa hyvä.
Lämmin kiitos Kaisa Makkonen, todella upeaa taas jälleen kerran ja aina ilo todella sinun kanssa olla täällä ihailla sitä tehdä luonteen luivustasi ja sitä sitkeyttä. Se on koko perheen asia ollut, että sinä olet kuntoutumassa ja kuntoutunut ja isä vielä äitisi ovat ja koko perheesi vahvasti mukana. Ja se on upeaa, että annetaan tässä koko Makkosen perheelle aplodit vielä.
Okay, so wow. So Kaisa, welcome. Beautiful singing. Tell us a little bit, please, about yourself and how you met Arno. And don't forget, Kaisa, you have to unmute first.
Gosh, I am Kaisa Makkonen, soprano. I was born in Savonlinna. I started studying at Savonlinna School of Music and Arts, and Chieko was my teacher there, and that's when our friendship started. And after that, I continued my study in Turku and further in Vienna. I was studying in Vienna master degree in opera music. I finished my studies 2017 and I moved back to Finland, Savonlinna. Now I sing and produce concerts as a freelancer. I had singing lessons with Jorma Silvasti, which made me happy. And Arno invited me to sing at the opera many times.
Yes.
Wonderful. So Arno, you invited. Is that your understanding of this relationship? That's how you met Kaisa?
Absolutely, and this has been very, very important for me as well. And then I'm so proud that the whole Makkonen family, and then of course Chieko and Jorma, have been supporting Kaisa so much indeed. So this is it's a great joy for me to see Kaisa's development, and also that she's always positive and in a very good mood and sings wonderfully. Thank you, Kaisa.
Wonderful. Let's take a look at Mr. Silvasti. This is Jorma. Let's take a look at his musicality.
Un Sturm aus fernem Meer, mein Welt klingt mir nah. Über turmhohe Flut vom Süden her, mein
Fantastic. Jorma, welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
So Jorma, so tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the Savonlinna Opera Festival.
Well, I was actually born about 100 kilometers from, do you have the microphone? No? Yeah, sorry. I was born 100 kilometers away from Savonlinna, but since I was something like 3 or 4 years old, my parents moved here in the town, and I visited my school here, got involved with the Savonlinna Opera Festival as a young choir member with 15 years old. I remember I was 15 years old, and then later I was working as a technician in wardrobe, later as solist, and the final job was then the artistic director. So Savonlinna has always been my home, even we lived in Germany quite a long time, and my work brought me around the world. But Savonlinna is in my heart. It was always, and it's going to be like
Wonderful.
that.
Wonderful. Let's get to know now Chieko, and let's listen to her voice. Fantastic. Chieko, welcome.
Thank you, Simeon, for this invitation to your show.
With pleasure. Thank you for being here. So Chieko, tell us a little bit, please, about yourself and how you met Jorma Silvasti.
Okay. I am I will say I am ex-opera singer from Japan, but I studied music and language in USA and mainly in Germany later on at Music and Performing Arts University in Frankfurt, where then I met Jorma. That is a long story. We were first friends. I knew Japanese baritone singer, and his good friend was elder Finnish tenor singer. And he told me, coming a very talented young tenor and need economic cheap apartment. And by happen, without knowing Jorma, I found, because one Japanese student, she has to go back Japan to go, she got a job, but she has to pay 3 months of rent. So she was very happy to find a new owner. And after summer vacation, then this elder tenor and Jorma invited me for coffee to Opera House. And but later on, we had a same vocal teacher at Opera House. And now I'm here. I sang in Estonia, near Finland, also National Opera in Helsinki 4 years, then, but later on freelancer, and in Latvia also, and at the end, Czech Republic. And since 2002, I started to teach at this art and music secondary high school.
Okay, so you really followed Jorma back to his home.
Yes, and I never thought that I can have a job in this small town, but it's a great thankful, I would say, opera festival, Opera Town.
And that's exactly what we're going to get into right now. That brings us to our first roundtable. As a city, what is Savonlinna like, and why are there so many excellent singers there? So let's take a look first at the geography. This is Savonlinna. There's Finland, way north of everything. And we see St. Petersburg and Finland. There's Helsinki, where Arno is right now. And then Savonlinna is right there on the Russian border, right in the middle of all these lakes. So it is actually an archipelago. So it's made up of all these little islands. Let's see what that looks like in reality. Wow. So that is Savonlinna. It's pretty much an archipelago connected by bridges. And there's Olavinlinna, where the opera festival takes place. So there's a lot of water, a lot of trees. It's a small city, about 30,000 people, and it has the most famous opera festival in Finland. So the question is, Chieko, maybe you'll start, and then Kaisa, Jorma, and Arno can fill in, can join the roundtable. Please tell us about the city of Savonlinna and why such a small city, far away from any large metropolitan area, has two stellar music schools, the Savonlinna Music Academy and the Savonlinna Senior Secondary School of Arts and Music, where Chieko teaches, which I understand is the oldest of its kind in the Nordic countries. Why does Savonlinna offer such a strong music education to its citizens and visitors? Chieko?
Well, of course, I said great thank to Opera Festival, and great thank belongs to 110 years ago. Those days, Finnish first international soprano singer, Aino Akte. She found this medieval castle, fantastic place. And she started, of course, with lots of support, also City of Savonlinna, started in 1912, first music festival. But that was before this country's independence and the war between, so it didn't last too long. But then 67, those days, world famous Finnish bass singer Martti Talvela, he studied actually to become teacher in Savonlinna. We used to have a facility for teacher at the university. And he started with lots of cultural, I think we will say, activist people to reopen this opera festival. And that was, Jorma and Arno can maybe better to explain, but first the choir was almost local, but quite like a choir, a conductor, of course, singers, main solist. The Martti was singing in Metropolitan Opera all over the world. So he gathered those great singers, Birgitta Nilsson, and so big names. But the local power was also very big. And at the same year, 67, our school has been also established. So it must be the word, I think, hippie flower time, this big cultural opening time after the Second World War. So big wave was also in Savonlinna, and many kinds of artists got together. Then, oldest as an art high school, 79 started the music facility. And which I now lead is music theater, a little bit with opera. This has been established 2002. And this music academy was also first named Aino Akte Institute. And it's a master classes every year, chamber music to opera education, great names as a teacher we have. And actually, I must say, I've got also through this academy many jobs and engagements. So, and it's still going on. And so it's small town, but big town is for musicians. We need to practice, and it's very hard to get, apartment like where you can sing at night. But here in Savonlinna, it's much easier. And you can completely concentrate. And city is very also, not so much violence, very calm, very friendly, cozy island.
It's fantastic.
Green island.
And as you mentioned, you didn't think you'd have a job when you came to Savonlinna, such a small city, and there you are working 20 years later. So Kaisa, tell us a little bit. It's thanks to all of these music academies, Chieko and Jorma, that you've been so successful. What is Savonlinna to you?
Oh, gosh, Savonlinna, inspiring teacher and supported, and I don't know, home where is
You feel free.
yes,
Beautiful.
yes.
Beautiful surroundings, which gives you so much as an artist.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
By the way, Chieko is like encyclopedia. I don't need to fulfill many things, but we have really beautiful connection to Vienna concerning the reopening for the festival 67, because the idea came from the Vienna Staatsoper tenor Peter Klein. He was the one who mentioned that, my goodness, you have this kind of beautiful place, and you have the history of this festival, 1912 until 1916, and later 1 year, 1930. Why don't you try and make it again? So maybe that also tells a little bit, or that gives an idea about Savonlinna as a city which has always been quite international. We have to understand that Savonlinna was earlier a border town between Russia and Sweden. And that's why in the 1910, this was a spa town, really international. You could hear in the main street French, German, English, Russia, all these languages. And maybe something we still have on that, or we didn't lose all these things, and somehow, you say in English, undermine. It was growing and growing, and we created that again. And of course, this nature is so inspiring, and that keeps you all. It's like a Sibelius music. When you listen to Sibelius music, and then you see the pictures of Finland, then you understand. Okay, of course, this is a connection.
Fantastic. Arno, what are your thoughts? You have
Well, I think
different schools.
it's wonderful what I hear both Chieko and then Kaisa and Jorma saying, because they have the tradition also. My Savonlinna start was a bit slow, so to say, because I wasn't so keen on opera until I directed this Flying Dutchman '89, where Jorma was just performing some minutes ago. And that started my love to Savonlinna and to the opera festival. Then I realized what I had missed when I wasn't so keen on this kind of music. My father was a conductor and mother pianist, so that orchestral music, concertos, chamber music were closer to me than opera. But when I found opera, I'm really a keen opera lover. And what Chieko and Jorma also pointed out is that the tradition, the Russian tradition, and then all these languages you could hear that time, it certainly gives some kind of label still to Savonlinna, so that it's a very, very nice small town, friendly town. People are lovely, friendly, and 30,000 is really a nice amount of inhabitants, so to say. And then I have to say that although it's a bit too close to Russia, to be honest, it's a wonderful town, and I really enjoy being there every single summer.
Fantastic. So let's take another listen to Kaisa singing. Again, here is Kaisa singing Maskani, Voi lo sapete, and she is with the Savonlinna String Quartet accompanying. Fantastic. So I wanted to ask you, Chieko and Jorma, to talk about working with Kaisa and working, I believe, at this two different schools. We have the Savonlinna Music Academy and then the Senior Secondary School for Music and the Arts. Tell us a little bit about that, working with Kaisa. What is it like now? Tell us about her and her as a student of yours.
Well, my relationship with this school, with Kaisa, will be back in like 10 years ago or more than. And I heard Kaisa's voice first time 2003 at children's singing competition, and she of course got some she was, I think, one of the winner, and I was very amazed. Whoa, what a wonderful voice, and what a wonderful also good-looking lady, well, girl she was. Then after a few years, she came to our school. It has been, you have to come to this school, of course, with the entrance examination. And she was singing pop music, jazz more. So my job is to give a little magic with opera. And there are actually also Kaisa's group was like a golden group. Many of them became a singer, actor, director, or even dressmaker, and so on. So our school is not the school to produce only soloists, but to find your strength, what you, in cultural field you could be the best of Finland. And then Kaisa and many, they started to interested in opera, and of course opera festival. There are many summer jobs which is offered for even high school students, not to as a musician or singer, but there are 2,000 summer workers we need for opera. So we, yes, and then they support us also, for example, when we do those little or big production, opera festivals has 10,000 of like costumes. So we can borrow them, rent them, and also we give our students as a worker. So we have lots of co-work. And yeah, those photos, small town, but medieval, this castle has lots of other activities and events. So our students may perform many times during the year.
And Chieko, so this castle in the back, that's the Olavinlinna where the opera festival takes place, is that right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's also, as you said, so your school is working with the opera festival and giving the students a lot of opportunities to do many different things there.
Yes, and also this castle, we are just talking very fantastic things, but one guide told me, very experienced guide, over 500 years old is this castle. Actually, Jorma said border, so that was a war castle. So that means when the war, there were from all over Europe, 2,000 to 5,000 soldiers were in this island or on the sea. And of course, 800 soldiers were constantly living in this castle. So the history is not really bright, it's rather dark. And these surroundings, we call it very dark waves because many soldiers died also. But now, after 500 years, with the culture, those very sad sorrows came up, and there are also many Romeo and Julia type of real stories between Finnish girls with Russian soldiers or Swedish soldiers. And still, we have many, many things to give to the world, I think.
Well, I believe it.
Well done.
So let's take a look quickly now at this video. This is a video of the Savonlinna Opera Festival, and we will get a better idea of what that is all about.
A unique experience at the top of the world. Held in a medieval castle, surrounded by clear water lakes. Offering 4 weeks of grand emotions moving stories, and human destinies. The Savonlinna Opera Festival enjoys a first-class international reputation among opera professionals and music-loving audiences. The medieval castle from 1475 offers an outstanding location for classic opera masterpieces and premieres. Quality opera and the unique atmosphere have always been the primary reasons for coming to the Savonlinna Opera Festival. The festival, established at the dawn of the 20th century, gathers more than 70,000 visitors a year. Welcome to the Premium Opera Festival at the top of the world.
Wow. So that is pretty impressive. So this brings us to our next roundtable, which is, what is the Savonlinna Opera Festival and what is its place in Finnish society? Quote, so when I first learned about the Savonlinna Opera Festival, it was through reading about a curious low-key event that happens every mornings on the sidelines of the festival. It is called Opening of the Opera Day, and it is hosted and produced by Arno, who is also the PR manager at the opera festivals. Here is exactly what I read. Quote, during the opera festival in Savonlinna, there is every morning at 10 an event at the Harbor Park on the terrace of Restaurant Watu. We have always an interesting person as guest, and he or she will be interviewed by Arno Kronvall. The guest can be a celebrity, a person representing political, industrial, cultural, financial life, a local authority, etc. There is also always a singer from one of the operas of the season. He or she sings 2 songs. The song can be a lead, aria, operetta, musical, or folklore. Between the songs, Arno Kronvall also interviews the singer. A professional pianist accompanies. He is Mr. Jukka Nikainen, a celebrated Finnish artist. The event is very easygoing and free of charge, and the event is for everyone, and especially for people who cannot, for different reasons, attend performances in the castle. The opening of the Opera Day is very popular, and it is like a talk show, not a concert. The duration is 30 to 40 minutes, end quote. So, after getting to know Savonlinna through Arno, Kaisa, Jorma, and Chieko, opening of the Opera Day seems to summarize my understanding of Savonlinna. It is welcoming, sophisticated, innovative, and inclusive of all different kinds of diversity. So Arno, over to you, and then to Kaisa, Jorma, and Chieko. Is that your understanding? What is the Savonlinna Opera Festival and what is its place in Finnish society?
I would say so also, that this opening of the Opera Day that was established because we knew that there are people who cannot afford tickets, for example. They are too expensive, or then they have some handicaps. It's not so easy to walk and move in the castle, but they get some kind of spirit of the opera festival when they come to the morning show, so to say. And I think it's very visible also because it's in the Harbor Park, and it gives the hint of the opera what you are going to see or what you saw in the castle, and it's like a little bit taking backwards the feelings what they impressed in the castle itself. And it's also labeled to the opera festival that every single person has some kind of contact to the opera festival, whether it's positive or negative, but anyway, contact to the festival. And it's very important that the town is also very much involved. The authorities of the Savonlinna town, of course, have a major label on the festival. And then, as Jorma said, also from Martti Talvela, we have been privileged to get wonderful artists, world stars, and then we have visiting opera houses. The first one was Estonia Theatre, and now we had the Croatian National Theatre from Rijeka, because Ville Matveev, the new artistic director, was the how do you say, the main. He was principal visitor to the Rijeka Opera Festival, so he had a contact already there. So that it's very international, but it's also very national. Also thinking of the dishes you eat in Savonlinna, for example, these sweet bay fishes are very popular, and then some other things there, which and the marketplace. So it's in a compact way very Finnish, but also very international.
And Arno, so tell us, because that's what I wanted to open the show by showing your opening of the Opera Day, which we saw with you interviewing Kaisa and her beautiful singing. So you are the one who decided we need to do this. How did you come to that conclusion? Because as you mentioned, already since 1989, you were working for the opera, but it's only since 2003 that you started this special inclusive series.
We had Olavinlinna he's an opera singer himself, and I came in from 2003. Olli started in 1998, but he got a role in the Tales of Hoffman, so he couldn't be 10 o'clock in the park or in the terrace, so to say. So I was the head of the press office that time and making radio programs also. So I was invited to continue all this job, and since then I've been there. So that was my 20th year. And this, for me, it has been also very, very important, because you know the character of these people, ordinary people, come from morning till morning. Every morning they sit there maybe on the same seats, and they get the spirit, and it's very positive. But of course, we get also ideas from the festival leadership also, that who would be the ideal to interview, and then also I can choose myself also people, so that it's a combination of cooperation as well.
Fantastic. So
and then just a small example, sorry to say, that some years ago when Nokia was on the top of this industry, so we could see 9 DC-9s on the Savonlinna airport, which was also, so they were very much incoming, the industrial people invited their colleagues from all over the world. So it has been very, very international from the first beginning, so to say.
Fantastic. So Jorma, Arno was mentioning that Savonlinna is too close to Russia for his comfort. Tell us a little bit about the significance of this city. Also, when looking at the Savonlinna Opera Festival, what comes up besides a picture of a diplomatic visit from Vladimir Putin to the Prime Minister, or President, excuse me if I'm wrong, of Finland, meeting him at the Savonlinna Opera Festival. What is the significance? I mean, this is clearly a very powerful town with 30,000 inhabitants.
Yeah, of course, specific that meeting came together since we invited the Bolshoi Opera House, and it's just part of the Savonlinna Opera. We are so international. We are connected financially and artistically everywhere to the world. And how we became, or how we got to this position, we have to understand that until 1993 there wasn't any big stage in Finland for the opera, and Savonlinna was a shop window for the Finnish operatic life. And so, and of course we think that it's still even we have a new national opera in Helsinki, but well, it's really hard for me personally to analyze these things, since I've been growing with this festival, and the castle has always been there, and it took also for me, I needed to stay 15 years abroad and come back to understand this. What does it mean to have this kind of festival here? And it's we are so lucky, we are so fortunate, and everything fantastic.
Kaisa, what does this castle mean to you? I know a recent music video you made featured you there with the castle, and you were talking about that. I mean, I believe the name of the song is Olavinlinna. It's so meaningful to you. What does it mean to you?
Whole life grow up with it. I don't know. inspiring, and
It's maybe just a part of us.
yes.
So we can't define. We grew up with this castle and with this spirit of Savonlinna, and what Arno mentioned about the opening of the Opera Day, it has always been really important since Martti Talvela to get the community involved with this festival, because that creates this famous Savonlinna spirit, what the artistic world in everywhere is now talking about. And we are really happy that we have this label to be nice, kind, with a high quality festival. So no words.
Wow, fantastic. And if I might, may I bring in Niels Moos, professor, director of the Opera Master Program. He's been very silent so far, but maybe I can ask you, what do you think of seeing all of this? Oh, besides dropping your phone.
Do you see me again?
I do, I see you perfectly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you know all about opera all over the world. What do you think when seeing all of this, hearing about such an incredible thing?
Yeah, first of all, I would say I think it's wonderful to hear. Of course, I'm also from a Nordic country. I come from Denmark. And of course, Savonlinna in Nordic music life, it is the international festival. And it has always been like that. And of course, it was also that on the background of the big generations. Oh. So I'm here again.
Niels, you there? Can you hear us? Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can.
No, it was a big festival, and there were these big generation of Finnish singers, and they were really also a backbone in international opera life. And I must say, when I see my friends here, how they work very seriously, they are very socially committed, and
Okay.
This is, I think that is why also this festival can renew itself constantly, and it is a very important event in international opera life.
Fantastic.
And I hear also these people, and I see them, new friends, Jorma and Chieko, and Kaisa, of course, I know very well. And also what Arno first said, that also knowing Kaisa is also a very important thing in his life. I am very touched to hear that also. And that shows the high quality of these, human quality of these people.
Fantastic, extraordinary. Chieko, to you, your thoughts? What is Savonlinna in the world, into Finland and the world?
I always said it's the town, a dream town of music and art. We also have lots of other artists living here, because I think opera is like also I studied with rock and pop music as well, so I love those too. But opera is a performing arts, like a temple. The top of, because we need many years to how to say, find this skill to study and so on. And we need also costumes, we need technique for lighting and sets, all these. Yes, we have also a technical theater technical school here. And we all educate here, and we send to Helsinki, National Opera, to all over Finland, those professional skilled people.
Fantastic.
Also in technique part. So Savonlinna is really small, and we are also not always a small town, and people are getting old, and university we lost. So there is another technical university coming up, but we are actually at the moment we are fighting to survive this cultural town, to keep.
Okay. And is that, what do you wish, Chieko, as our final question, what do you wish Savonlinna, this town that has become your town?
To become more famous and to get more cultural tourists too. I mean, after this Corona and war, I think also now Europe country very, very hot and struggling, but this is our Savonlinna is because of the Lake District. It's still very cozy. And you can go to the forest, pick up berries, fresh chanterelle, how to say, mushrooms, lots of goodies.
Fantastic.
Hunting will start very soon.
Okay, well, we're already on the way to fulfilling your wish then. I think we've really shown how great this city is. Kaisa, what do you wish Savonlinna?
I wish lots you say
Future,
yeah,
good future.
A good future.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. That's well, I think we hear that in your singing, a beautiful future that you're making that future happen. Thank you, Kaisa. And you, Jorma?
Well, nowadays I'm part of the Savonlinna City Council, and I have taken for me the most important task to bring the same spirit, same doing, and for the whole year of Savonlinna, because of course this festival is immense, it's really important, and I would like to widen this all so that we could be as famous also through winter, autumn, winter, and spring, because there is also another things happening in Savonlinna than opera festival.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to hearing about all of that. And I'm sure many of us look forward to visiting Olavinlinna in all the seasons. So I'd like to now ask the question to Arno, but in the meantime, would Chieko and Kaisa get ready to sing? And Kaisa, I believe you have to change the microphone on the computer. Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Arno, so what do you wish?
Yeah.
What do you wish Savonlinna?
Well, I think Jorma said in a very clever way that it's very important for the whole community. I hope that it's still very, very international, but in a way very local as well, so that it never becomes too big, and it's still concentrating on the high class artistry, singing, playing, things like that. Not too commercial, but really severe festival of opera, including concerts and chamber music and things like that. That is my wish, and I'm sure that it's going to be the future anyway.
Clearly, and your opening of the Opera Day shows how much that's already become a reality. Thank you so much,
I hope
Arno.
so.
So
You're
now,
welcome. Thank you.
this is Kaisa singing and Chieko at the piano. The name of the song is Will There Be a Morning?
Okay.
Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I sit
Brava. Applause all around. Applause all around. Brava, Kaisa. Brava, Chieko. So thank you. Let's see how we can stay in touch first with Kaisa and with the rest of Savonlinna. Here is Kaisa's website. It is kaisamakkonen.net, and people can reach out to Kaisa. As we know already, she has devoted her life to music. There you are. You can contact her right there. Let's take a look at how to stay in touch with the Savonlinna Opera Festival. It is simply operafestival.fi, and it's all available in English there. You can look exactly at what is coming up next season. There it is, stay in touch with that. And the city of Savonlinna itself is savonlinna.fi. There it is. Welcome to Savonlinna, the Savonlinna area where life is good, as we have just experienced. And even you have the contact to the mayor right there, should you have any questions. So thank you so very much to Arno Kronvall, to Kaisa Makkonen, to Jorma Silvasti, and Chieko Okabe.
Thank you very much, Simon. Wonderfully run show. Thank you very much. And thank you, Niels, as well. Thank you, Niels.
Of course. Good luck with everything. Eh?
So let's
You deserve it.
let's take a look at what is coming up next week. We have here Marco Chitti. Who decides that roads lead to Rome? We citizens love to connect with each other by lamenting the exorbitant taxes we pay to wasteful governments and the inflated prices of consumer goods and services. But how often do nuanced arguments about transportation infrastructure figure into those conversations? Probably never. Roads, bridges, railways, we just take them for granted, right? However, the status of transportation networks has always been key to determining any economy's potential well-being. For example, if goods and services are in supply at point A, but in demand at point B, well-designed transportation infrastructure makes for efficient transactions, i.e. doing business costs less, is more likely to happen, and that makes lower taxes a likelihood. Even the CIA understands the significance of transportation infrastructure to the relative power of a modern global market economy. In the CIA, the World Fact Book, the CIA compares each country to all others based on its number of airports, kilometers of railway, roadways, and waterways. So, who decides that roads lead to Rome? Come welcome urban planner and transportation scientist Marco Chitti to our show, and he will show us how he and his colleagues are already planning transit well into the future. Again, that's next Wednesday. Marco Chitti, who decides that roads lead to Rome, and all information about upcoming shows may be found at www.simeonmoro.com. Once again, thank you so very much to Arno Kronvall, to Kaisa Makkonen, to Jorma Silvasti and Chieko Okabe. Thank you to Niels Moos. Thank you very much to Juuso Koski for the videos and subtitles he provided us to opening of the Opera Day, as well as to Agnieszka and Benoit Rivole for their support of this show. Thanks most of all to you, our participants, who make it all worthwhile. From Savonlinna and Helsinki, Finland, Vienna, Austria, New London, New Hampshire, and the Bay Area, California, goodbye, and see you next Wednesday.
Thank you very much. Thank you. See
Thank you very much.